Well, anyway, but it's a bit like what does the church stand on? What do you stand on in politics? It's all the same. It all comes back to the same nexus, which is the search for truth, right? And as soon as you start speaking truth, people are drawn to it. It's like why people become Christians, why people have faith in the first place, because they recognize the truth. My dad always tells me, and I think this is great. He's like, it's terribly unfair in life being a Christian, and the reason being is because because you have the truth. You have the truth of the gospel at the heart of it. You have the truth of knowing that a relationship between a man and a woman in a loving union is the best environment in which to raise children. It is the only environment in which to raise children. And it is, then you layer on everything else. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't covet your neighbor's wife. Don't do all these other things. And when you actually do them, and it's the same way that the popular portrayal of Christianity is still this like censorious, restricts you. And it couldn't be further from that truth, because when Paul writes in Galatians, for freedom I have set you free. It's like, but you were slaves to sin, now you're slaves to righteousness. Being a slave to sin is exhausting. Like being a slave to sin is the most exhausting because you have to constantly keep up with the sin, whether it's lying, whether it's cheating, whether it's stealing, whatever it is.
Whether it's heroin.
Yeah. And Fulton Sheen actually gave, I was listening to one of his sermons the other day, and I just thought it was so powerful, because he says that in the position where you sin, the devil, who is the accuser, then he says before you sin, the devil is your friend.
Yes.
He's like, go on,
mercy.
Just do it.
Remember God's mercy. After the fall, remember God's judgment.
Yeah, well, and Christ is the sensorial nature, and the devil is your pushing you on, and then after you've sinned, the roles are reversed.
Yes.
Because Christ says, come
remember
to
my
me.
Judgment, and you fall, remember my mercy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Fulton Sheen says, now the devil says, now he's the accuser. Well, you've done it once, so carry on. What's the point? Well, why bother? And that's the point. It's the same in politics. It's the same in everything in our world. Ecclesiastes, nothing is new under the sun. It's the human nature strives for the truth. It desperately seeks the truth. Right. And the more you extract the truth from society, the more crazy it gets.
Well, this is my real theory on why things have gone so bad. The real, he's getting another bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
We only had one.
My actual theory on why you're seeing so much craziness now, like a particular degree of craziness, with all of the various ideologies that I'm not allowed to name on YouTube.
We're on locals, you go for it.
Oh, good, okay. Well, why you're seeing not only transgenderism, but actually these overt depictions of Satanism and, Sam Smith dancing around at the Grammys as the devil, and all these two members of the Biden administration using overt satanic imagery, pentagrams and that sort of thing. Why are you seeing it? I actually think it's because fewer people are being baptized, and many fewer people are going to confession. Yeah. And so, in the baptism, you have an exorcism, at least one, if not three. And in the sacrament of confession, I had an exorcist describe it to me as, yes, one cleanses the soul in confession, but also one has demons cut off of you. I mean, think of it that way. Demons kind of glom onto you in your sins, and then they're cut off in confession. That's why you'll physically feel better after confession. And so I in a way it'd be simpler if I could just, it would be clearer to many modern people if I could just say, well, if you just follow this 5-step self-help program, this will help the politics. No, I just think, in the Middle Ages, people were baptized more and went to confession more, and so you saw less of this crazy, overt, demonic symbolism everywhere.
Thank you so much for watching that clip. If you want to watch the entire thing, go over to mattfradd.locals.com. Locals is like a non-woke Patreon. So if you want to support the work of Pints with Aquinas, you can do that over there, mattfradd.locals.com. And when you do, you get a ton of things in return. You get bonus podcasts. You get bonus episodes of things. You get monthly spiritual direction with Father Gregory Pine. You get monthly audiobooks. You get our print newspaper sent to your door quarterly, and we even pay for shipping. There's a ton of things you get, and you also get the satisfaction of knowing that you're supporting the work of Pints with Aquinas. mattfradd.locals.com. Thanks.
Pay Thursday's salary.
Pay Thursdays.